On go. Good morning, everybody. Um, yes, this is what? This is a thing. Um I didn't even turn the end stream. I just want to check one thing here. Just see if I did this right. Evidently I did, but I just want to double
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, there
Um
we are.
view your channel, view my channel. Oh,
Good morning, sweet tea. I see you
okay.
on there.
Yes,
Merry
we are.
Christmas.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's interesting. My chat. Oh, duh. No, I have it on chat. Interesting. Okay, well, okay, I'll just accept it and run with it. Let's just put you over here. There we go. Yes, now I see sweet tea. Yes. Yeah, we got the chatting, and that's fine. We don't need an intro. Um,
Yeah.
I
It's
was
well, while you're doing that, it's been an interesting morning, guys. Edgar decided to chew the end of this is supposed to be my ring light. So he chewed the end of that off. So now I have no light, so it's just natural light. So looks like I look okay on camera. I'm a little more washed out than normal, but
it's all good, and I must
yeah.
admit, he did an excellent job of stripping the end really nice and clean. Yeah.
I do. This cat amazes me. The stuff that I'm just like, what? Wait. So all of my cat. I think I might have told you this, but all of my animals have more than one name, except for Shitty Kitty. That just kind of fits. But so his name is Edgar Knievel, like evil Knievel, because we always get confused and call him Edward Colwell. So the
Mhm.
Knievel part fits, and he's got the zoomies this morning, and he's running around, jumping all over everything. Mental health matters. Hello. It's yeah. Oh, my chat isn't going here. Hold on.
Yeah,
Am I?
these are paired over from, another channel.
Oh,
If you
okay.
on
Gotcha.
Restream, you may have to hit the little chat button on Restream, to see it, but, yeah, you'll see local chats in,
Okay.
YouTube.
I'm checking
Yeah,
it out here in YouTube. Oh, there we go.
yeah.
Truth Wave Meditation. Hello. Hello.
Happy
Hello.
sunrise. Yes, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's kind of a I must admit, this is all good though. I managed to get the flu, but not the coop, and earlier, and this I think this is the coop I'm getting now. Two different flus, but you know what? This too
Hmm.
pass. And who knows? It may not be, but it's
I
somewhat.
hope not. My friend, she works at a daycare center, and she got the vid, and she's just like Christy. She's like, send me Reiki, send me healing, anything.
Mm,
She's like,
yeah.
anything you can do. Um, and I don't do. I I am a Reiki master, but I don't do Reiki really
Mm,
on people. There's just a few
mhm,
people that I kind of do it on, and I'm like, I'll do
mhm.
it. We'll see how this goes. Bye,
Yes.
illusion. Hello.
Yeah, and it um one thing, although you know what, I have time off for it. Although I'd prefer not to use my time off to be sick. I'd prefer that to be for work
Right?
time, just because. But one
Yeah.
thing, one thing, oil of oregano, and I think what oil of oregano and if you get the drops of grapefruit
Hmm.
seed extract. I think one
Hmm.
thing that does is that scares the hell out of any disease that you have in your body because it's like, oh hell, if he's willing to give himself that intentionally, I don't want
Yeah.
to be part of this. This host is going to kill himself just to get rid of me. Yes, um, but
Well,
yeah, I still think that we ought to make a grapefruits, possibly an oil of oregano. Because if you ever taste oil of oregano,
oh, it's awful. It's
yeah, so
bad.
I think we ought
It's
to make
bad.
an oil of oregano flavored bubblegum with a grapefruit seed extract juicy center, and, yeah, I'll make a killing. although may get convicted of that, and wind up in a big house, but, hey.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Uh,
and peppermint oil is really good too if you're sick and you have an
mm,
upset tummy. Peppermint oil is really good. But yeah, oil of oregano, elderberry, guys, is a really good one too to kind of help stave it
mm,
off a little bit. Elderberry,
yeah,
cosmic. Oh, cosmic. That must be so beautiful. Mm, I've always
guess
wanted to
I'm
go to yeah.
and I'm really jealous of Cosmic Me, first of all, because, she is the overlord, whatever term you wanna use, absolute ruler of all of,
Mhm.
Australia, but also because, she's having summer right now, and,
Mhm.
it got yesterday, the high was only 73, and it's like, I hate winter. Um,
Yeah.
I'm I know that is actually unseasonably warm, so it's not quite the paradise as I'm trying to portray.
Right? Oh my goodness. Well, and winter like 73 is different than summer 73, you know?
Yeah.
And I am hoping, guys, I've got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a white Christmas. I
Mm.
took the dogs out. It looked like there was a little bit of flurries kind of going on, but I don't know. It's not supposed to be cold enough today, but I really want a white Christmas, so I'm hoping. And then, oh, can I just show off my Christmas present, guys? It's obviously aliens, and I got the hecklefish.
Nice, nice, and I was amazed to see Miss Dragon has a, stuffed heckle she has one of the hecklefish plushies. Apparently, it talks when you, pinch it
Oh,
or
how
something, or
cool is
it says
that?
something apparently. Um, yeah, so I always love myself some Wi-Files.
Yes, yes.
Let me just make sure I have this open. Oh, he's in the queue. I may have actually, I may have sent, um, Truthwave the wrong address. Oh my goodness gracious me, poor Truthwave. Let's try this again. Copy. Okay, because he's probably like sitting there. He's probably been so sorry. Try this. Boom, boom,
Well,
boom.
while you're doing that, Mental Health Matters says, I'm getting my education on supplements. You know, I, I want to write, not trying to plug my own channel here, but Karina is going to school for like herbal medicine. Like she actually works in a like homeopathic pharmacy
Mhm.
where they fill prescriptions from homeopathic doctors because she lives in Seattle. So that is a thing out there. Um, we're going to talk more this year. Hey, we're going to talk more this year about herbs and how to use them in your life and that kind of thing. We're going to do some stuff like that. So um, keep checking back with the channel because we are going to have some of that kind of, it's going to be a very basic overview of how to use herbs, but it's
Mhm.
definitely something that I want to get into because, a lot of people are like, not into some of the other options, let's say, that we have out there. And so I want to help people to understand. Anyway, I'll shut up. Good morning, Victor. How
Good
are you?
Good morning. Hello, beautiful souls. Are you going to give
good
us
morning.
420 reasons to utilize herbs?
Yeah,
Not
I
that I know
love
anything
herbs.
about that.
You know what? Karina's amazing, guys. I called her. I'm like, okay, I'm going through something. What can you recommend? And she shot me off a list that was like super long. She's like,
Wow.
go to your herbal thing. And here's the thing, and I don't know, Victor, exactly where you're at. I lived in Kentucky for 5 years. It is so hard in some places to find things. So she's in Seattle, so she can find everything. And even here in Missouri, some of the stuff that she told me, they're like, we don't have that. And I'm like, gotcha, okay. But yes, yes, I want to kind of talk about that this year and some
I
more
would
other
love
Mm.
exciting things.
I would love to have that discussion on a serious note. I would love to have that
Yeah.
discussion because excuse me, so many things. Here we go.
Mm,
Already down one of the rabbitest of holes. 'Cause, that's Heckle little thing and
Mhm.
lizard people. And the thing is so many things are hidden from us. So many things have
Yeah.
been lost in our
Mm,
matrix or however you want to say that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's so many options out there that work. Those are wait, what's the word?
Yeah,
Um,
you're right. Holistic.
Natural and holistic
yeah.
Mhm.
things to help us. And like the oregano, dude, Ben, I put myself through that oregano oil. I actually, I'm going to have some as soon as my stream ends in a couple
Mm,
hours. As soon as that ends, I'm going to go nick myself with some oregano oil just because you brought it up. Because I know I have some in my kitchen and I'll dilute
Yeah.
it.
yeah, because I've noticed. I mean, not that it's distracting at all, but I've noticed in the last couple streams you've had to do the, you getting stuff
Yeah.
going down there as well. So yeah, it appears to be tis the season. Just real
Right.
quick, I just want to go ahead and Victor
Yeah.
Ooh,
is from Truth Wave Energy Meditation. Let me go ahead and drop. This is Victor. There we go. Drop the path for him. Oops, that's the wrong path. Okay, let's try this
now you're going to
again.
have 16 people join.
Okay, again, Truth Wave. Boom, that's Truth Wave there, the energy meditation. And then we have CONVERSATI conversations with CHRISTIE. I could spell, even with my creative spelling, and I pity the fool that spells a word only one way. It's so limiting. And
Thank you,
This
Steve.
of course, we have
Yes.
conversations with Christy. Truth Wave
Mm.
has a meditation in the morning that he does, and it works out conveniently. He has one he does in the morning, right before Christy starts.
Mhm.
Stops screen sharing. It's 8 o'clock my time, which is Mountain. So I think it's 9. Well, that's when the meditation starts, but you usually ramp up for a good 15 minutes on
Mhm.
Victor, and then of course, um, an hour or 45 minutes after the meditation ends, usually 30 to 45 minutes, Christy starts up. So it's a great way to get.
Yeah.
Wait, more, do I have that backwards? No, I think I have it right.
You have it
No,
correct.
you've got it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um, but yeah, too.
And
It's very. I've noticed quite a difference. I've been experimenting with quite a few things, and I've noticed that just it helps enforce mindfulness. It helps enforce
Mhm.
intention because we
Mhm.
operate in a default mode. Well, most of us do. Some of us have elevated past that, but I won't make fun of them right now. I'm not making fun of anybody, but uh, so a lot of us operate in a default mode, which means if we do not pay attention to that, we will go through the day
Mhm.
the way we were, what we've been doing for the past gazillion years that we've been on this planet.
Right.
I for one was there when Moses was coming down off the mount, and they had the tablets and all that, and yeah, I was like, dude, what took you so long? Um, no, but
Ben.
when dirt
Terrible.
when dirt when dirt came along, it asked me, dude, how long have you been here? Um,
For billions
Were
and
you there
billions
when
of
Keith
years.
Richards was born?
billions and billions of years. Yeah.
I did that for you last night, by the way. I really emphasized it.
But yeah, it helps to having a mindfulness practice, a intention. That's
Mhm.
part of what Victor does is
Yeah.
you have a guided meditation to kind of help just welcome the day and clear everything, and then you can have an intention that you set, and that really does help to overrule the default mode that I find I operate in.
Monkey mode,
Um,
or what's it called? Monkey brain. I'm not making
yes,
fun
Yeah.
of you. I'm just saying it.
yes. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
otherwise we operate in our lizard brain, our cat brain. That's what the terms they use for the lower brain stem, which works only in emotions. And you go slightly higher, you have a cat brain or mammalian brain, and then you have this covering, neocortex, which means new covering.
Ooh,
Um,
interesting.
that's where all of our thought centers are, our reason, rationale centers, and things like that. But Yes, so I don't mean to bogart that.
No,
So
Oh no,
no,
that's
no,
you
that's
said we could talk
awesome.
about anything. So I don't. You're about to rip the scab. Wait. Well, you're about to open up that bucket because you yesterday I did bring up Christy. I don't think you were there last. No, you weren't. You didn't attend last night, but we did.
No, uh-uh.
I think we definitively came to Die Hard being potentially a Christmas music, Christmas movie.
so
I have
so
so much
once
hope for you, Victor, to be on my side.
once again, in a completely non-biased, completely neutral way, we see you can be on the correct side of history and say, yes, it is a Christmas, or you can be completely and utterly wrong and non-biased, of course.
And you
Non-biased
know
is
what?
the network news.
And stand firm in your incorrectness. Don't be swayed, people.
Speaking of which, drew a few cards this morning, and let's see if we
Yes,
can
let's
pull
see.
this
What do you
up.
have?
Yeah, we got the 7 of pancakes, the 8 of hot dogs, the 3 of french fries. So you have 2 prime numbers there. Got hair
Oh,
metal,
fun.
and then we got the Bob Eubanks Pez dispenser and the capybara. So, um, this shows that, in the morning it's good to have pancakes. Sometimes you're thinking hot dogs, but every now and again you have french fries, and what better to have a french fries than a good hair metal song? And when you get Bob Eubanks popping along, you never know what you're going to get in a Pez dispenser. For all you know, you could wind up with an oil of oregano Pez. And yeah, it's best just to be like Capybara because they're known for being fairly laid back. Just see what's going on and try to be more laid back about it. So yeah, that's my beautiful energy.
Is that your
Beautiful.
deck? Did you make that deck?
Yeah, I've been
That is
playing
freaking
around.
awesome, man. Do you have you already? Is it published?
No, no,
Oh,
I'm still
dude, come
building it.
on. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
hold
Thank
on.
you. See, Ben, you need to
Okay.
do you need to use it.
I'm gonna totally be on you like a stink to make this. That is so fun. Oh my god. I would
I
love to
have
have
been
that. I'll even
I
help
told
you.
him, right. I told him, I'm like, look, send me the link. I'll print them out myself. I'll cut them up. I'll laminate them. I'll use them. These are amazing. He's got a Karina card that showed up, and I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. Uh,
Do you have the whole
so
deck
yeah.
made?
Hmm?
Do you have the
No.
entire Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to collaborate on that because I've
Mm.
got you totally need to have a Buckaroo Banzai card. Do you know Buckaroo Banzai?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And he could be like a king or
Merry Christmas. Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
And, I'm just saying for Ben, because when Ben and I first started talking, he was like, tarot, I don't know anything about it, whatever. To now he's doing tarot readings in the morning.
That's awesome.
And he's making a tarot deck. I'm like, look at you growing and ascending. How awesome is that?
That is awesome.
and of course we.
And-
Oh, go ahead. Oh, we have Teresa, who also has her Moons to Wisdom as her channel. Let's see.
Yes,
here,
it will
right.
be. It will be called. It is that. It's just not set up yet, but it will be.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's not set up yet. Okay.
It's still under my name, Wounds to Wisdom. Well,
Edgar.
I'll be talking to Plant Freak soon, so it should be up and running in a matter of days.
Good
Cool.
deal. Good deal. Very exciting. Very exciting.
But
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
And that's one thing I've noticed with energy is sometimes it's good to be joyful. It's good to be. I love to have the ecstatic joyfulness where you can go into your cat brain with that even you're so happy. But you know what? We aren't robots.
Right.
We're feeling creatures. So I absolutely love to get ecstatic, what operate in what Mark Bowden calls the ecstatic plane, where you're emoting up here. Everything is great. Everything is up. This kind of energy, but sometimes it does get a little. It can get a little tiring. So it's always important to keep my energy in check. But when you find you have excess energy, that's one thing. It's like, well, why not? Wish good thoughts upon others and try to send it to them. And, hey, Energy is never. Somebody once said, I don't know who, it was some obscure person. Energy is never wasted. I don't know who said that though. I just it's probably a dude with a turtleneck that says billions and billions too.
It could be. It could be. I am just, of course, some famous scientist said that. I think it's probably, well, Carl Sagan probably said it to us. Well, the one of us that grew up with Cosmos, that wonderful documentary, as you all are probably not old enough to remember it.
Oh, Shaw, love that. Say it again. Say it again.
I'll say it one more time.
Son.
I'll say it one more time. Smooth.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
that
the,
just made my day. Gosh.
and the original had the, what was the name of the ship? The Dandelion, the ship of the imagination.
Oh yeah. So you just channeled some Carl Sagan right there when you said that. I could hear it. That's really interesting. Oh, okay. You know, I told you about my aunt and uncle yesterday that worked at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's, if you don't know what that is, that's like a specialty side funnel of NASA, and so that was supposed to be my path. So I took a major, once I got out of the military, I was supposed to go to Southern California and be educated and go to Cal Poly, and I decided to go elsewhere to a party school instead, which was amazing in my brief stint at that party school until I had to go to a different school and finish. But that happens. But it's funny. And this is, so there's a bigger picture here. There's these major, you ever stop to think about in your life, once you get old enough, once you guys get to my age, then you'll see that you can look back on your life and you think, oh, wow, that was a pivotal time in my life. And it's so fun to think about, because you're like, wow, what would I be? What would have happened if I would have gone the other route? And I mean, I was like all booked, and I was already accepted to universities and had everything. I was going to live with my aunt and uncle. And then I was like, at the last minute, I changed my mind to go to a football school instead, because I liked college football at the time. And it changed my trajectory, went completely different.
Yeah.
And it's fun to think about, just think you can do it right now. Think about times back in your past, and everyone in chat, it's like where, you can think about these, wow, if I would have gone the other way, if I would have gone the other direction, I may not even be sitting here right now. I may not even be alive. I may be on Mars. Yeah. So it's
Michael and I.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm a little delayed, guys. Sorry. Michael and I talk about that all the time. He always says to me, he's like, imagine the times when it was really difficult for us, like when we were in Washington State and we were tent camping. If we got plucked up and put here right now, like imagine how we would look at our lives and look at what was around and look at what we had, and how interesting that would be, and how we wouldn't know what had happened. And one of the things that my brother says that I said to my kids a lot was, it's just 1 second of 1 moment of 1 hour of one decision that changes your entire life. And and that's really profound when you think about that. And I want to encourage you guys, think about it, but don't go down that rabbit hole and like make yourself all sad and depressed either.
Right.
But it's true. Just one little thing. And I want to encourage you guys too, because the story of how we ended up with this RV is actually really kind of a tragic one, right? And so even in those moments where things are tough and difficult and there is some tragedy there, get through that, but then there's usually something positive that follows that. So I want to encourage you, if you guys are in a time right now where it's tricky, maybe Christmas is tricky for you, right? Look at that and try to sit in gratitude and mindfulness to see, what positive thing might come out of it. So
right. That see, the thing is too, is think about this. Think about all of our, okay, here we go, Hecklefish. Think about the your deemed positive and deemed negative experiences. See, I'm in the house where I believe that we incarnate to come and have experiences, and all of the spiritual journey that all of us are on. is part of that incarnation. And
Mhm.
because as light beings, see, I think that we're these omniscient energy beings that hang out,
Mhm.
and we create these scenarios for ourselves to come have meaning
Mhm.
in our existence. Okay. So half
Mhm.
of us are creating it, and half of us, for example, are experiencing it. So we jam all
Mhm.
these things in this experience because as light beings, we can't do this, we can't taste, we can't make love, we can't go surfing, we can't do all these things. And we take on these
Mhm.
incarnations and we pack a lot into it. And think about it, all of our deemed positive experiences are just as important as all of our deemed negative, because as these
Yeah.
light beings, we don't differentiate. You see, we're here for the
Yeah.
experiences. So that's my belief,
Yeah.
my personal belief. And think about somebody gets a new car, and the
Mhm.
next thing they get in a bad wreck, they survive, they get in a bad wreck. But if they had
Right.
not had that good experience, they would have probably not had that bad experience. So
Right.
it's a fun mental exercise.
Well, and even manifesting, I
Mhm.
mean, it doesn't matter where what you're manifesting comes from. If somebody, like, we all have heard those country songs, like I grew up on country music. So we've all heard those country songs of like, somebody's, like husband died and then well, there's a specific country song I'm thinking of. I don't remember who sings it. It's Riding with Private somebody anyway. It's a country song about this guy who's looking for a car, and he sees this ad, and he goes to this house, and there's this woman there, and she's like, I've got this old car, I don't even know what it is. It ends up being like a Corvette or something like that. And
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, it was my son's, but he never came back from Vietnam. And
Mhm.
so anyway, he's talking about how he buys this car, and he felt guilty because the lady didn't know what she had, but she sold it anyway. And there was a letter in the glove box of the car. It's giving me goosebumps as I'm telling you guys about this. That said, if you're reading this, I didn't come back, and but I want you to enjoy the car, and I'm going to be riding with you. And then he, like you say, he gets into this accident and he survives, and he sees this apparition of somebody who saved him. So the point is, after all of that, that it
Back to
doesn't matter how things come to us. Don't feel bad about you being gifted something beautiful in this life.
sure.
And I want to encourage you too, if you're going through something difficult, people might be looking to you to see how to navigate those difficult times, because you
Mm.
might be one of the healthier people, that that they know.
Mm.
And so I think there's always opportunity for us to learn and to teach, to be the example and seek that example. And I just think it's beautiful, to have that and to always learn. And I want to encourage everybody to always learn. And even I've been working on this gratitude journal for the last 3 days, so I've been sitting in a lot of gratitude lately. I'm trying to finish it up and get it put together, so I've got it for January. But gratitude and mindfulness and intention are, I think, and love, four of the most important things that we
Mm.
have.
Mm.
And without any of those, our lives can become fairly tricky. Uh, oh, Cosmic, your brain is fried. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yes, it was mistyping, but and of course, Christy was talking about she may have a white Christmas. I don't know if anybody else has a white Christmas going on.
I want a white Christmas so bad.
Mine's just cold. Mine's just chilly. Hey,
We had white Christmas.
oh, you already
You
have snow
are?
on the ground?
Oh,
Yeah, we had snow yesterday, so it's not like it's massive snow in New England, but it's still
uh-huh.
pretty,
Oh,
you know.
New wow, New England. You're up there in the permafrost.
Yeah.
Everything north of the Grand Canyon, permafrost. Everything. Polar bears everywhere.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go south because I'm not a heat girl. Sit down.
I, I
Yeah.
was I was telling Christy earlier that it got down to a chilly 73 here yesterday. It's like I don't know if I can handle this. But no, it's that is unseasonably warm in all honesty. But yes, I am
Bless
loving
it.
the heat.
You know,
Victor,
Ben said something last night too about his energy work that I wanted to bring up. And Christy is actually, oh, hey, let's do it like the Brady's. Christy,
eh,
that's That's awesome. Christy knows how to do the chi ball thing, don't you? To
The
get your
what?
energy going. Don't you do that
Oh,
vigorous
yes,
rub?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
then you can do it right now. Yeah.
Yes, or you do
Yeah.
that to get some
So
get some kinetic energy, and then
yeah.
Get
So
like
how I do my energy balls is you guys, I gave myself uh, tennis elbow typing so much. So if you see me making a face, it's not anything other than that. What I do when I do my energy ball is I actually call in Reiki energy. You don't have to, but if you are attuned to the Reiki symbols, you can do that. So I just do the Chokurei symbol on my palms and tap it 3 times, and then. But even if you're not, all you do is just put your hands together and rub really, really good, and you'll feel your hands getting warmer and warmer. And I always make sure, the palms like this. And then you hold your hands up and you can feel that ball grow in your palms. And then as you want to make it bigger, you just expand. How I do it is I just expand it out and kind of like create that ball, like I'm actually playing with that energy. And however big I want the ball to be is how big I expand it. And then like when I do meditations with Victor, um, that's what I'm doing is I'm creating an energy ball with an intention around whatever node I'm on. And I hold that energy ball. And then as people are sending energy, I pull it into the energy ball. And then when we pulse, which is when we breathe, I send that energy ball up. But it's a really great, if you want to know how the energy feels in your body, it's a great way to do that, to feel it. And like I said, I mean, and you've seen how I do it. And I always set an intention with everything I do. So whether it's an intention around collecting the energy for the meditation or whatever, and it does take some practice. So you might not really, get it right the first time, and you can pass it off too. So like, we could do that, and we could like, I could pass the energy ball to Teresa or to Victor or to Ben, and because energy is not limited by any traditional confines.
or
So
distance.
yeah, yeah. But that's how I do it. I use my hands.
And I
I'm a
think
very
as
tactile.
yeah, and as a Reiki practitioner master, um, I use symbols, but I also think that there's a time where your own energy will pulse if you sit in silence for a few moments. And um, if you're so you want to send an energy to someone, you want to send them love and light. If they're not available to receive, send it to their higher self and ask their higher self if they are meant to receive that energy, then
Mhm.
they will disperse that energy, because it's not really for me to say, I don't know, Ben, let me send some energy his way. He may not be up to receiving that energy. It's healing light and love. Maybe he's not in a place to receive the healing light and love. I'm going to send it to his higher self. And that comes down from the belief that, and Victor said this earlier, we've chosen to be in this space and time without getting woo woo. So when we came into these bodies, we chose these experiences to have. We chose that we have the ability to perhaps reshape these experiences we have to make us a higher being, one that lives in light and love. But the journey to live in light and love is not like this. It's a journey. It's literally an experience. We have to climb that mountain. We get our butts kicked back down to base camp, and we got to climb back up. And I think that, oftentimes when I don't know someone specific, like in the chats, we get a lot of people that are struggling. And I think someone, and I may have misunderstood, is someone about to have a baby? Well, either way, if someone's
Oh,
not feeling well, or and I might have misunderstood it, it went by fast and I don't have my glasses on. But what I would do is, yes, I would say I'm sending you healing love and light and good health, but I would internally, I'm sending it to their higher self. They know what they need, and if they're receptive to receive it. Otherwise, you're sort of bouncing it off in my experience, in my knowing. And sorry, I'm shaking. It's 21 degrees here. Sorry, and I didn't turn up the house heat warm enough, and my
Oh
puppies
no.
are not warming me up yet. Um, but so it's that internal, knowing of take what you need and then put it back out into the ether. And so, Chrissy, what you were also saying earlier, you take in our sessions each day when you do the reading and you create this ball, and then you're actually putting it back out.
Mhm.
Each of us has the ability to put that energy out. It's a prayer. It's a prayer. I'm sending a prayer, and I'm hoping that that person has blah, blah, blah experience. And
Mhm.
so I know I'm a little long-winded at the moment, but that's really
Yeah.
the intention is that I want to send you and everyone in the chat love, light, healing,
Mhm.
compassion, joy, gratitude.
Mm.
Who the hell am I to tell you what you should or shouldn't receive? So I'll send it
Right.
out to the universe. I'll send it up to your higher self, and may it resonate and go with you where it needs to go.
And I think, Teresa, I want to say something here that's really important. I think Teresa brings up a good point. You don't get to get into other people's energy without permission. And one of the things that I learned early on, because, you can tell me something, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to listen to you because I'm kind of sassy and ornery that way. Um, it can make you very sick to work in someone's energy without their permission. And it is energetic voyeurism to do that. So that's why anytime that, we have to grant permission, whether I'm doing a tarot reading for you or just sending you energy. And not everybody is open to this. Um, and I think it's really important that we be mindful because depending on where we're coming from with some of this, it could be triggering to hear religious experiences because of maybe some of our own traumas, or people that are in religion might not want to hear what we have to say about energy. So I think being really mindful is very important, and mindful of your own energy, and just like Teresa said, if they're open to receive it. And, I'm not a person, honestly, who's big on prayer. I don't pray anymore. But if somebody says, will you pray for me? I will pray for you. I will absolutely pray for you because I want to
Mm.
meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
And I want to meet you on the level that you're on. And so I think it's important that we all keep that in mind.
Mm.
um because it's this is getting into people's beliefs, and people get very passionate about
Yeah.
their beliefs,
As they
you
should be.
know
Yeah.
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. And I think it's important too to remember though that there could be a lot of trauma associated with those.
That's
And
right.
so, anytime that you're talking about it, I think it's really important to be mindful and respectful and yet open. And those are all hard this can
Yeah.
be hard things to be. And Ben and I were kind of talking about this yesterday. Christmas could be a little triggering for some people, not just from the family aspect. Maybe you're not with your family, maybe there's something, but maybe you're just out of that particular belief system and you're trying to sort that out for yourself and you don't know what it looks like right now. So I just want to encourage everybody that's here that I hope that you have the most beautiful day that you can have in the most beautiful way that you can have it. And it just is. I'll be honest. Christmas was very hard for me for a few years when I was untangling everything that I had to believe, or that I had believed. So I'm just always really aware of that. So if that's where you're at, it's okay. Enjoy the day for the beauty that it is. Um, you know, and worry about the other stuff tomorrow.
I do want to say, I hope everybody in the chat, everybody who's seeing this thing, if you'd please send Aria thoughts and prayers, positive energy, whatever, to help
Heck
her
yeah.
along with the yes, because yeah, apparently, if I understanding the chat correctly, yeah, it looks
Twins.
like Yeah, it looks like she's having some twins here. So, yeah,
Oh,
I
how
do.
beautiful is
Yes, it's got to be a
that? So beautiful.
quite a thing to look forward to. And with many of these beliefs too, I find that there's multiple levels to them. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to subscribe to
Right.
everything to get some benefit. Like, I'm trying to pick
Yeah.
something. That one dude, the one dude that you were talking about that you subscribe to, that I sent you a video of him. Um, where he's talking about uh, kind of like the law of attraction or whatever you want to call
Jake
it.
Ducey?
Yes, Jake Ducey. Like part of what he was
Yeah,
talking about, it's a very interesting thing, and there's multiple levels to it. You can have the
yeah.
okay, this is my energy, or you could have the part where just okay, you have this lizard brain, and
Mhm.
what we do oftentimes is we will allow that to subvert ourselves because I'm not worthy. I'm not every time I get
Uh-huh.
close to this, every time I do this, every time I get close to obtaining this, I subvert it. Well,
Yeah.
on the neuroscience level, what you're doing, what one of the things that he's doing is you're envisioning whatever you're going for,
Mhm.
a YouTube channel that's growing. So what you do is you envision in your head this YouTube channel growing, this car, whatever. Um, and you're saying to yourself, yes, I'm worthy of this, or yes, I'm going to obtain this. What you're doing is you're implanting that image back in that lizard brain, which does not
Yeah.
speak English. It only speaks
Mhm.
emojis, but you're planting this image which it understands. Okay. And then you're feeding that with the emotion of gratitude, expectation. So you're kind of actually reprogramming that part of your brain to not see,
Mhm.
oh yes, I want this, but I'll never get it, type of thing. I want to, and we do that not necessarily with material things only, but we'll do that to ourselves all the time. If
Yeah.
Yeah.
some of us will, some of us wear turtlenecks and probably have gotten past that, but no, I'm always picking on poor Victor. Um, but no, that is something at which we get caught up in, and that is where a lot of
Mhm.
our limiting beliefs live,
Mhm.
is in that lizard brain that only speaks emojis. It's learned these things to keep us safe
Right.
as children, but as adults, we no longer these no longer serve us. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're so well programmed into us. Things like my limiting beliefs. I'm not as good as my brothers.
Yep.
Mhm.
Everything is my fault. Everything I will never be good at this. All these limiting beliefs that will always pop up. There's so many ways to tackle them. And I still find and I was just amazed. One of the things that I learned in Confidence Reboot with Chase Hughes was to put these beliefs up on a screen. It sounds like you're programming yourself with them, where you have these limiting beliefs. I will never be good enough. And it's in your face. And it's on a background that these people are yay, they're celebrating. But what you're doing is, and you see that, and sometimes I have them on a rotating desktop. What happens is you see that and you say, that is stupid. Your brain's saying that limiting belief right there, the way it's being
Mhm.
celebrated is stupid. And what that's doing is that's telling your lizard brain this belief,
Mhm.
which can be broken down into emotion. I will never be good enough. That's a self-defeating, depressing,
Mhm.
negative
Mhm.
monster. You can, if you look at that belief long enough, awareness, hey, I have this limiting belief and it's dumb.
Yeah.
It will reprogram that center of our brain. And limiting beliefs are like onions. We think oh, I only have a few. Oh no, oh no. You peel those away, and there's boom, there's more. Like
Yeah.
oh,
Billions and
joy.
billions of layers.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and these are things that we picked up through our childhood, and yeah, they're mainly designed, like I said, to keep us safe. But because we do that as children. Oh, I'm not good enough. We're detracting attention away from ourselves. Maybe it's a bullying situation. Maybe it's a family situation. Who knows? That's just things that we do as kids, and unfortunately, we carry those with us, and they no
Mhm.
longer serve us. But
I want to interject something about Aria's kids, her twins. I was up very late, past way far later than I was supposed to. I was up with one of my mentors. And I say one of my mentors because all of you are my mentors. Everyone's my mentor. And despite, Ben said something last night. He goes, I hope to have my energy, be able to do energy like you do one of these days. And the thing is, Ben is sitting here teaching me something right now. You see, he's imparting wisdom upon me that I didn't know anything about. And that's the great thing about our community and how we're all coming together right now. And I was with one of my mentors last night, and she was talking about all the kids coming into the planet now are going to be, they're going to be more in touch with their gifts, especially those twins. Because twins already have that, they already have that superpower between each other. So they're like being born with that connection already in place that all of us had to sit and work and develop and things like that. And it's going to be this next batch of kids that come in that could be teaching us in 10 years or 12 years. And it's beautiful to think about that all these young people coming in right now could be the way showers for us in 10, 12 years, or maybe we'll be all sitting around in some beautiful sylvan glade, and one of these small 8-year-old kids will be sitting there spouting this beautiful wisdom that's brought to them, given to them by source, because they're part of this new awakening that's happening. Look at our community coming together. And like I always say, energy never lies. And I see people out on X. I love being on X. That's so much fun to say too, especially being an 80s person. But the thing is that it's you see people out there. I follow this one lady, and she is always lambasting, "Oh, worry about fakes. I'm like, why is she putting this energy out there? Okay, why is she saying, "Oh, watch out for charlatans," and "Oh, here, come by my course"? I'm kind of like, what's the energy? I'm feeling the energy. I'm not seeing what I'm reading it and then feeling the energy off of it. So that's why I say, once you get in touch with your energy never freaking lies. It never lies. And you can, because what is that example, Ben? Where, here, let me do my Bill Clinton. I never had sex with that woman. Right? I never had sex with that woman.
Yes.
But so that's the physical tell right there. But energy is so much deeper. And there's so many people popping up in one of her arguments, the lady I'm speaking about, and I'm not speaking ill of her because I think her intent is good overall. She's an Akashic record reader or something. But the deal is that she has her modality and she has her spot. Ben has his spot. Christy has her spot. Teresa has hers. I have mine. And the thing is, we're all coming together right now in such a beautiful way. Like this, we couldn't have done this maybe 15 years ago, sure. But now it's like we're all finding each other and coming together, everyone. And I just like to look at the beauty of this moment. We have 15, 20 people in here sharing an excellent time, being present with one another, and bringing, kicking even if it's just a little notch, bringing that vibration up on the plate. Excuse me, bringing the vibration up just that much more makes a difference every time. Love it.
Yeah.
So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and I'd like to jump into Victor. The youth will also have the awareness from their parents, because look, if you come from my parents, they all think, well, so my mom's no longer with me, but my dad thinks I'm nuts. He's like, oh, I'm an aberration to my family. They don't get where I'm coming from. They haven't gotten it for a long time. And so this generation, even 2 or 3 times removed, because now my niece, she's in her 30s, so they're a little bit more enlightened. These 20-somethings are enlightened as they have kids. They're not going to say, oh, no, you can't believe in that. You're going to hell. Everybody in my family is like, you're on that bus. You're going straight down, girl. And I'm like, great, I'll just pick everybody up with me. It's like, that's your belief. And
Mhm.
so what Victor said is, as parents are more enlightened, as I don't have children, but I'm at the age where I would be a grandmother. It would be, okay, great. Let's, you know, let's encourage people to see beyond, because thinking
Mhm.
higher doesn't mean you don't believe in Jesus or God or whatever your specific religion or religious track is. They're not separate.
Mhm.
They don't have to be. We make them that way, right? So I still pray every day. I still pray sometimes multiple times a day. It's just that my prayer, I know, is open, it's vast, it's going out there into the universe. And it's also the intention of your prayer, or your intention, or your manifestation, or your, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I just wanted to piggyback onto that with Victor, because as we become light beings and we accept that we are light beings and light workers and
Mhm.
empaths, and not everybody's an empath, but I would beg to differ that if you see someone suffering, you're going to have a reaction. Most of us, that's an empath. You're relating to someone else's situation. You see a car crash, you see war, you see whatever it is, floods. My God, this country went through so many floods this year, and
Mhm.
tornadoes and hurricanes, and
By design.
yeah, exactly. But for those of us that are witness to that, if your reaction is one of compassion, you're probably already an empath. You just haven't tapped quite into that, and you don't have to. But that's what an empath is. It's someone who feels for another human being. Some of us OD'd on it and didn't know how to rein in being an empath and hurt ourselves. And so once you know what to do with that energy and those feelings, then you can direct it a little bit more. You're going down the highway and you see the exit, you got to get off because it's just too much coming at you. So that's my feel.
Just so everybody knows, some of the
Oh,
comments that we're having this thing, it will show paired comments, but if you're in the local chat to Ben Bacon Bits, the channel name, and it's only the channel name because I haven't decided upon a better name yet. I love indecision, but if you're seeing just a few comments, there are other people were paired with Mental Health Matters and the Village. So, yeah, there's multiple people commenting on different channels. So if you're local to one channel and you're not seeing other comments, yeah, that's why.
Oh, I'm going to piggyback on something. I didn't actually finish my thought, and I didn't get
Mhm.
interrupted or anything. I paused appropriately, but that lady I was speaking about earlier, I'm not speaking ill of her or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, she was pointing out that a lot of people are coming out with all these modalities right now, and I just wanted to remind, I'm not going to be the person that says, "Oh, beware of charlatans" and things like that. Energy, back again to energy. If you don't feel a good vibe from them, they're saying one thing, of course, use your discretion. However, where I'm going is all these modalities are popping up right now because people need them. All right. Even if it's
Mhm.
that person, they need that modality or whatever this is. It could be reading coffee grounds. Okay. That's their modality. And someone out there is going to connect to it and they're going to help that person get to the next modality and the next modality. So I'm not in the camp where, oh, watch out for all the charlatans coming out. No, it's because people are freaking waking up. The veil is lifting. All right.
Mhm.
And so I don't think if the intent is there, regardless if it's handstand skateboarding to help you get in touch with your chi or your inner child, hey, if it works for you, do it.
Mhm.
If it's not harming
Mhm.
you or another person, do it. So that's where I was kind of leading with that. Is I'm not going to sit out there and say, "Oh, that modality." I'm not arrogant enough to, "Oh, hey, their modality isn't valid." No, screw that. No, I'm going to freaking give it to me. I will try it. And if it doesn't resonate, hey, it doesn't resonate. If it does, heck yeah.
Mhm. That
Yeah.
was one of
And
the
I
things I oh, sorry?
no, just
Oh,
real fast before I forget the thought. I think it's important to support people in their understanding as they are awakening because it can be very confusing going from one belief system to another. And I think it's important to be there and be supportive for people going through things and understanding that this could be them untangling a huge part of their life. And so anybody out there, wherever you're at on it, know that you're supported. Because I know in my instance, um, truthfully, I probably would never see my nephews again if my brother knew that this is what I believed. My grandkids I would still see and stuff like that. But I mean, it's very real. And so just know that you are supported if you're going through something like that. I just want everybody to know that you're supported because it can be very difficult. So anyway, Ben, what you got?
well, yeah, that was one of the things that popped up for me earlier. I thought I had all it's kinda like it's funny how we seem to go through these cycles where we become teenagers again, and, "No, I know
Yeah.
all the answers. I got everything mapped out." But then, of all things, having
Talk about
some
lizard brain.
yes, um, I was faced with some things I was just doing for a fun experiment, I'm thinking of, what was that model? Project Gateway. That is a project that was declassified by the CIA that they were using where they were basically saying that that you can that this is remote viewing and we can teach you to do it. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, this is going to be, I got this figured out. I'll just sign up for it. It'll be a happy little class, and what the heck, I'll be able to say at the end, no, well, this. But lo and behold, to see that things are a lot more complex than what you thought, that maybe
Mm.
you didn't have things quite figured out as well as you did. So having, leaving that room open has been
Mhm.
part of what I've been trying to figure out lately. I
Mhm.
found it amazing talking to Scott. He's a Native American Ojibwe. I'm probably mispronouncing that horribly. He's probably cringing wherever he's at. But he found that he was Ojibwe, and he grew up very straight line Christian, but he was looking at the system of beliefs, the way that they treat things, and it was just
Mhm.
fascinating that now he just talks about creator. Um,
Yeah.
and he's trying to figure out for himself, how does this all mesh together? What does this mean for my belief system?
Mhm.
Um, it was fascinating to hear him. It was actually quite beautiful too, because he was talking about their creation story, and it was just
Yeah.
fascinating to hear him talk
Mm.
about uh, the spirit of it. Because he's talking that there was a flood, and I'm getting this horribly wrong. There were a bunch of animals that got together. Something, I don't remember what it was. A piece of land sunk to in the middle of this giant water, this flood. Something sank, and I think they had to retrieve it. I think it was a piece of earth that they needed to um, bring up to repopulate, land. And I think it was a muskrat or some small animal, and they all these animals sat around and decided, who should go down and get this piece of land from deep in the lake. And they sent the muskrat, and the muskrat dove for it, and they waited and waited and waited, and muskrat never came up. So somebody else went down and grabbed the muskrat, which was now dead, but it had a piece of this ground in its hand, and the animals brought this muskrat up, and they all grieved for the muskrat, and
Mhm.
the spirit of the muskrat said, "See, you thought I was small and insignificant, but I was able to give this of myself, and to accomplish what I set out to do. It was I mean, and reading it does not, a couple of us read the story and it just didn't, it was so much more, it was just, there was so much more to it, hearing the spoken
Yeah.
word, because that was the way
Yeah.
Nice.
the Native Americans handled it. And it was just such an interesting energy, the way he talked about it. And it's like, wow. But with me, I think the thing I found surprising about it was he's exploring that part of his heritage now. And he's faced, in a different way, the same thing that I've had to. It's like, okay, I believe this, but now I'm faced with the fact that Gateway, of all things, a CIA program,
Those guys.
it's led to this in my life, and it's like, what do I do with that now? And so now it's like, oh hell! And then you're seeing things like, you know what? There actually is something to. It was amazing hearing Karina and you go through. Excuse me. Go through astrology and tarot and things like that, and it's like, wow! So things aren't as basic as I thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the terms that Victor uses. I don't know. He doesn't use creator. I think he uses architect or mass. I don't remember the term that Victor uses, but one of the things that they use in Gateway was the architect, being the god who creates. And of course, Ojibwe, they talk about creator. It's just fascinating to start digging into these. And, if they work for you, fine. If they don't, fine. But it's interesting. Like I say, even if you're going to find that you disagree, find out what people believe, just because, they're your friends, and if nothing else, you find you disagree with it, fine. But you know more about their inner workings and things like that. And, that's what we do with friends. We try to find out, what makes them tick. And, but yeah, it's astonishing to me. And you don't necessarily have to accept everything that particular group teaches. You can find what works for you. And it's like, wow, or, use things from it where you're at, like the thing we were talking about with Ducey or whatever the guy's name was, the guy with the turtleneck.
Jake Ducey.
Yeah. And that could be accepted as, you could look at it and some people say, yes, this is the energy, the law of attraction, or you say, well, yeah, you're reprogramming that part of your brain to no longer subvert myself with this belief system. One of the things Victor talks about is being authentic, and that there's an energy with that. When somebody's being authentic, you can pick up on this energy. Other people see it as strictly body language, and other people see it statement analysis. I did not have sex with that woman, distancing language, all of it. But yeah, it all works. It all, there's an energy to it. There's body language, there's statement analysis. It's just amazing that on so many levels that you could spot somebody who's being inauthentic. It's like when you're learning to draw perspectives with vanishing points. It's something that is very hard to get the illustration concepts of how vanishing points work, how tall something will be at such and such a distance. You get your scaling right. It's very hard to master, but anybody in the world can spot it when it's done wrong. It's like, wait a minute, there's something your brain recognizes spatial relationships, and it's like, wait a minute, that angle isn't right. And,
like a fart in a car.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That one hit me right.
I love that channeling that Hecklefish energy.
Oh my god!
Don't even get me started on Uranus. Wait.
Well, I'm just going to share this joke. Ben, is it okay if I share my Mars joke?
Absolutely.
So, Karina was doing a reading for me because I knew Pluto was moving into Aquarius, and because my sun sign is Aquarius, I knew it was going to be a big deal for me. And over the summer, I had a lot of things really blow up in my life in a very big way. So I got in touch with her and I'm like, I think this is like Pluto and Aquarius, and I don't know. And so she's like, let me do a reading for you. So she did a reading for me, and she goes, actually, it's Mars. And she says Uranus. She goes, actually, it's Mars and Uranus that's causing all these problems. And I'm like, oh, so you're telling me Mars is in Uranus and that's why this is a problem for me? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, good to know. So that's always my joke. And Michael and I say that, oh, is Mars in Uranus? Is that why you're having the problem?
Oh my
Because that's
God.
how
I'm
we,
that.
guys, that's how we were taught to say the name of that particular planet when we were young.
Yeah.
And so the first time I heard somebody say Uranus, I'm like, what the hell is Uranus? Wait, oh, right. Okay, so now I understand why we maybe can't quite say it that way. But yeah, so that's my thing. It's like, oh, great. So Mars is in Uranus. Okay, I got it. Because for those of you that don't know, Mars is the warrior planet. So there you go.
I'm so adding that to my lexicon. Yeah. Oh, and I need to do a quick shout out to the bath crew who showed up a few minutes ago.
Hello.
Nice. Oh, yes. I
Nice,
didn't recognize the
nice.
name.
Oh man. So, you know,
Yeah,
going back to the creation story, if you guys want to hear the Lakota creation story, you can go to David Little Elk on YouTube and listen to him tell that particular creation story. Every indigenous tribe has a different creation story. It's some of it, I mean, you know, it's kind of a little similar, but theirs is actually a very beautiful creation story. And if you're interested at all in specifically ancient Lakota star knowledge and traditions, that's a great channel to go to if you're kind of interested in some of that. He goes over a lot of things, but it's a really cool creation story too. So I'm sorry, again, it's a little delayed, my connection, so I didn't mean to step on anybody.
yes, the Greek gods. And,
Oh wow, they are.
yeah, and that's something I didn't really even think about a whole lot. But yeah, that I still find it amazing though that the Wi-Fi was talking about the way certain planets would smell based upon their chemical composition. Talking about Uranus and the fact that it would smell like human flatulence. Like, yeah,
How appropriate.
Like space stinks. Yes, I love me some Y-Files. I'm so glad I found that channel. I think the first thing that I found was like completely by accident, and I loved when I lived in Alaska, and so anytime I see something on Alaska, I'm always like, oh, what's this? And it was like the Dark Pyramid under Alaska or somewhere, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I just like dove down this rabbit hole, and I was like, okay. And I've loved Hecklefish. He's like, if you took Hecklefish and Shitty Kitty and smushed them together, I think that's my spirit animal right there.
Well, you know, the great thing about that channel is I found it about a year ago, and he was still. I think when I subbed, he had like, I don't know, 500,000 subscribers, and it just goes to show the sign of the times. And now he's getting millions and millions of views,
Yes.
and it's just like really taking off. And he's mentioned that in the show. Hey, you know, it was time. I'm glad he got rid of. He tried another little Hecklefish type creature for a while, and it was a panda. And I'm glad he got rid of that because he may not have known the association with pandas. And I think he like kind of tested it out and then realized, because you know he's pretty adept at all the conspiracy stuff. That is some disgusting stuff that brings up. And I'm glad he got rid of that. And I hope it wasn't some kind of homage to. I don't think he's, like I said, you know, energy doesn't lie, and I don't think he is one of those. One of those, you know, people out there promoting that stuff. And you know, it's a great point too, is you know how everything is supposed to change. We're supposed to leave a monetary system and move to a heart-based system, which I freaking bring it, you know, consider it brought in from my perspective. But what's interesting about that is God, where was I? What was that?
Panda,
Yeah.
Heckle
So
fish.
Leaving the monetary system.
yeah, we're leaving the monetary system and coming into a new age where everything is going to be different. Everything, the way we do everything, is about to change,
Mhm,
and I think that's
mhm,
going to be amazing. In the
mhm.
dang, it's because we're all coming together. Well, I'm sorry. I'll give the floor up. It'll come back to
Yeah,
me if it's
Mm.
important.
I do that all the time. I'm like, what was I saying? It is, and the whole conspiracy theory thing. You at first it seems really, really crazy, and then you start kind of looking at it, kind of like what Ben was saying about spirituality. You start looking at it, and you're like, but is it? Is it
Mhm.
really that crazy? And Ben's he was talking about how what made him start kind of to think was Project Gateway, right? And remote viewing. For me, it was a dead rock star. So, it doesn't really matter what it looks like for you, that makes you question life. When you start looking at it, you're like, huh, how does that happen? How does that work? Like what was that? And it was Kurt Cobain and it was Aberdeen. Um, but you really, it's like when it hits you out of nowhere, and you're just like, what was? Wait a minute, what happened? Why am I questioning everything now? Where did this come from?
Yeah, it's
So
because we're allowed to question it now. We're allowed.
Mm.
yeah.
It's like, and nowadays we see through everything. If you spend any time on X like I do, it's you see normal people. I was telling a dear friend of mine yesterday about this. You see plumbers who usually post interesting plumbing videos, or carpenters, or I'm
Hmm.
talking about all across the spectrum. You even see doctors posting this. You see every background posting, "Hey, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You could dry that out and fertilize the lawn, with some of the stuff
Hmm.
that's, politicians are saying and trying to get us into a
Hmm.
third world war. It's like, and people are just like, no, we don't care. And that is
Yeah.
something interesting. Have any of you noticed how things that used to be part of your life are now slipping away? And let's not even talk about
Mm-hmm.
people yet. I'm talking about, it's like I used to love YouTube, and now I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
just like kind of getting the ick. I'm not saying the ick because that's kind of trendy and stuff like that, but it's really it just doesn't feel right anymore. And I
Mm.
don't know if it's a censorship that I'm feeling that I don't want to put up with. I just like that inauthenticity of YouTube saying, "Hey, some people, you can say this, but you can't say that," and people
Yeah.
have to say
Right.
deleted. People have been deleted, and it's like we're obfuscating the power of our spelling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that's trying to control the narrative on some level. And I don't resonate with that at all, because when we start oppressing and changing the language, it's like when they changed, oh, it's no longer UFOs, it's UAPs. So what they
Mm.
did was they just changed the language on it so it was more palatable to them. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
come on, we know what they are. We know, we know something is going on, and we don't have any answers about what's happening over New Jersey. Oh, it's a figment of
Yeah.
your imagination. Okay. Okay. And I have two friends in one of my groups. I talk to them multiple times a day sometimes, and they both live in New Jersey and have seen these things fly over their house. And
Oh wow.
so if we could do you guys want to talk about this for a moment? I'm going to throw something out here. I think it's a mixture of orbs from them. Okay, this is where I am right now. I think it's a mixture of orbs, and then the government, our government, or whoever's running our country right now, the CIA or the whoever. And I think they're sending up drones so they can say, "Oh no, it's us. No, it's us.
Mm.
Here's our drones
Yeah.
up here flying
Mhm.
around." So it's a mixture of both, and that seems to be the one that resonates with me the most. So what say you? What do you got? Where are each one of you in this? If you have any skin in this game so far, or have given it any thought?
Uh, um, I'll let somebody else go first.
Well, I don't actually, the drone situation, if our government doesn't know, shame on them, they suck. And I'm going to leave it there because I have enough to say about our government. They've been lying so much, they don't even realize that we can smell their lies. It's like smell-o-vision. So it almost doesn't matter what they
Futurama.
say. I'm going somewhere else for my information because they're not telling the truth. They think they're protecting people. You are not protecting, you're protecting your mighty dollar because energy is
Mhm.
free and we shouldn't have to pay for electricity because it's free and water. And there are things in this world that are free and the government, it doesn't behoove them for us to know that a lot of what we can have in our lives is free. And because someone, I mean, anyway, I could go down this rabbit hole. You started something, Victor. But then I think that, so the drones, there's been a couple of theories and I follow a couple of people, but I think that they're missing a nuke. I think a nuke is in this country. And I think that they are trailing it at night for the heat source to see where they can find that nuclear, I don't want to say the B word. And someone else had shared with this, and I don't know if it's Dr. Stephen Greer or not. And if anyone doesn't know him, he's been out there talking about other life forms in the universe, that we're not alone and that they're already here, and that our World War III isn't going to be about a physical war. It's other things that's already happening, I think. So do I
We're already in it.
think that, yeah. And I think that the orbs, they're not going to go along with headlights going, hey, wait, let me make sure that my tail light's on that you can see us. They're here. They've been here. If you look in history and you do your deep dives, it's not impossible that there are life forms within some humans that have been blinded and combined. So I don't, I mean, it's not scary to me. I think what's scary to me is that there could be potential other weapons that they're hunting for that they lost.
Mm.
And I'll be right back. My puppies are barking.
It is interesting. You see so many qualities of Chase Hughes went into this. You see so many qualities of a psyop, psychological operation with this. Some
Mhm.
qualities of a psyop are basically are all the news media is saying the same message. They will oftentimes even use the same words. When you
Mhm.
see that, when you see things that oftentimes psyops are meant to distract, like question the timing, why this now?
Mhm.
What could be the possible what could this be distracting from? Um, yeah, you'll typically see the same headline on different media sources.
Oh, you've seen that
Uh,
video with all the different news sources coming up and saying exactly the same thing word for word.
oh no, I haven't. I haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah.
That's just the quality. And we know that this is how psyops are run because our country has done them with other countries. So
Yeah.
there's a real big test bed there. Oftentimes they'll quote anonymous sources.
Mm.
One of the things that Wi-Files brings up correctly, they talk about the qualities of a whistleblower. David Grush keeps saying, everybody keeps saying David Grush is a whistleblower, but yet half the time you hear him, he's like, "Well, I have to be careful not to, not to go too far. I have to, my DOPSIC, won't allow me to say this. I can only say this in a skiff, or I have to be really careful." The guy says it a lot. He says it more often than he says anything else. I have to be careful.
Mhm.
When you have somebody who's speaking for a government organization, that's not a whistleblower, that's a spokesman.
Mhm.
It's like that's one of the things I do not like about David Grush. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he said this." Pay attention to what he actually
Mhm.
said. He didn't actually say that.
Mhm.
They asked him, "Are you aware of people being targeted over?" And he answered, "Over the years, well, did you say yes or no? You know, like, over the years, and then you go on some other story, and it's like people are saying, "Oh,
Mhm,
he meant this." Like, no, he never actually answered the question. You know, he just repeated the
mhm.
question a lot of times. Most times, he goes off on another trail and just kind of pulls a Bob Lazar, where he'll bring some other interesting thing up. It's like, wait a minute, no, 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 that's fine, but we're talking about this. You know, um,
Mhm,
yeah, yeah, a lot of times what will happen is, in a psychological operation, you're told something, and you can see this used in news shows, or I'm sorry, late night shows all the time, where they'll say something like, they'll say a bunch of embedded insults against a particular person, a party, whatever. You know, this guy lies, since this guy lies all the time, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll cut to the audience and they'll crack a joke. Now, what they're doing is they're working the fate model against you: focus, authority, tribe, and emotion.
Wow.
Emotion, what they'll do is they'll use emotion, they'll make a statement. And if you barrage statements at somebody, your brain has two modes where it's like, no, let's take that whole thing we were talking about yesterday with say law. You know, take it, think about it for a while. Is this true? But if you start hammering, boom, you know, quote, fact after fact, you know, boom, 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 stack all these things up, and then key emotion after it. That is a way to get around your brain rationalizing things, and then to key in the emotion to it, like ha 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 ha, yeah. And you've now accepted part of that, and you know, they know this, you know, and they have AI pushing this stuff out on, and I like using AI, but the thing is, it's being used in a multitude of fashions. It's being used to
mhm,
influence you, and you know, you think that, oh yeah, you know, you're going up against $1 billion supercomputer. So yeah, they are trying to influence you. And oh no, that's a conspiracy theory. If they weren't attempting to influence us, why do they spend so much on election campaigning? Why why is advertising such a thing? They're absolutely trying to influence you. That's what advertising is. They're trying to influence you. You will not be happy. You know, this is, you know, you are not good enough. But if you get this, you will be good enough and you'll be happy. You know, that's classic influence, you
Think
know.
think think about what's about to happen to us again. All right. And it's happened to every one of us in this room in chat, the Super Bowl. Okay, so it's a ground acquisition game, which happens to be our country's favorite sport is a ground acquisition game, football. All right. And then on top of it, they have us all conditioned to come and watch freaking commercials. It's
Mm,
insane. Oh, I can't wait to see what the commercials are on the Super Bowl. Like you're eagerly inviting it's like hey, what's my programming going to be for the next
mhm.
2 weeks or whatever, because I'm going to get
mm,
see all these wonderful ads. Like, dude, it's like
Yeah.
you see what you're saying? You're giving
mhm.
of yourself your energy for free so you can set. Oh wait, hold on, let me back up. That's where I was going earlier. We are so conditioned nowadays. It's like you excuse me, buy cell phone service. Oh, well, I noticed on one of my bills within the last 6 months, oh, there's a little charge. Well, this is what the local governments charge us to have cell phone service in your neighborhood. And I'm like, why am I eating that? They've gotten
Mhm.
us and
Mhm,
Right.
programmed us and programmed us. So, hey, yeah, I'm going to go
mhm,
buy that service. And now we no longer, it's you can't go buy a movie anymore. You can stream it as long as you keep this monthly service going on. You see, and then
mhm,
you stop and you check all the monthly services that you're part of. And some people they'll like, oh my God, I'm spending $180 for a Hulu, Netflix, blah, 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 blah.
mhm,
And oh, that's where I was going earlier. There was a movie out on X called The Heist, completely made with AI. And all it was they put a script into AI and it produced this entire movie. No actors, no cameramen, no film people, no this. You get rid of the actors and that nonsense. You get rid of the casting couch stuff and all the stuff that goes down that pipeline. But I find it so interesting that all four of us, we could get together, write some kind of script, feed it into AI, and it produces a beautiful movie for us. And
Oh
think
yeah.
about all the things in this new age, this heart-based age we're going to. Think about how that might be the new currency. The new currency going forward is what we're giving in the higher light. What light do you give? Think about that if
yeah.
that's the new currency. And it's like, and it maybe light might not be the right word for it, but what about positive intention? What if we start showing, what if our value is based on what we bring to one another instead of just stupid money, stupid money, stupid money? I was corporate for a long time. Bless you.
Mhm.
I was corporate for a long time, so I understand what it's like to be, I've been to the North Slope of Alaska due to my job.
Mhm.
And speaking of Alaska, and the thing is that I got to a point where I was like, oh yeah, the money's great, enjoying the heck out of that.
Mhm.
But I didn't have there was no substance to my work other than making more
Yeah.
money, being more efficient, getting the oil out of the ground more efficiently, making sure my part was done. And it's just that
Right.
awakening, it's happening everywhere right now. People are waking up, and I'm glad that there's people like you out there to welcome him in. So thank you for that.
I think, well, Michael has been to the slope several times, and
Mm.
I'm so jealous because he got to see the Northern Lights, and I haven't.
Mm. He also got to
But
freeze while he was up there.
yeah. They had to build a hoot around what they were doing so that he could actually work. The money was great, but yeah,
Sure.
it's a whole thing. The North Slope is its own thing, but
It is, and that's the Arctic Circle right there.
yeah, yeah. And I think where everything is coming from is we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is Aquarius is the sign, which is what I am. I'm an Aquarius of intelligence. It's not emotional, it's factual, but it's also all about the collective. So as we move into the age of Aquarius, what we're really moving into is an understanding of what's best, not only for ourselves, but the collective, and taking the emotion out of that. So whereas, in Pisces, for example, you're swimming in that emotion, right? You're all in it. You're like a fish in water in the ocean. Like you don't get out of that. So I think a lot of it really is, and in tarot, the air signs are represented by this suit of swords. And when you have swords, there's what's coming, right? Like you pull a sword on somebody and there's only one of two ways that's going to end, right? Either you walk away or you bleed. So there is that. So I do believe that that's why all of this search for knowledge and search for understanding is coming, is because we are in the age of Aquarius. So a lot of that emotion is leaving, and it's just the facts. We want the facts and we want the collective to be better. As far as the drones, to be honest, I haven't really followed it too much, but what I know to be true is anytime anybody is trying to get you to look over here, there is some major shiznit going on over here. And my question is not, I don't give two craps about the drones. Are they drones? Are they not drones? Are they UFOs? Are they balloons from China? I don't care. What are you doing over here? That's what I care about. I don't care what these are.
But see,
What
you
is this?
should. That's the thing, is they think that you should, and that's the thing you're seeing through.
Right.
We're all seeing through
Right.
this nonsense of, because we know it's you guys, or we know it's them, or we know it's this, we know it's that.
Yeah.
And it gets pushed away. It gets like, oh no,
Mhm.
you were having some politician in New Jersey said
Right.
that's a figment of your imagination. And speaking of that, hey, I want to send each and every one of you love, peace, and joy. I've got to go make some donuts. So I may see you guys there at the top of the hour. And I want to say
All
hello
right.
to everyone in chat. Thank you for being here. And
Thanks.
I will see you guys next
Have a
time.
good one.
All right.
Cool.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
But I do think that it's I'm paying attention. I want to know what's going on over here. But as far as the, becoming awakened and becoming enlightened, it really is because we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And like I said, Aquarius is about the collective. It's about how can we make our communities better? How can we be better people in our communities? And I think too, we're going to see a lot of upheaval,
Yes.
because Pluto's also in Aquarius. So that's bringing a lot of the stuff from a lot of the things that have not healed is coming to the surface. And so that looks a lot of different ways. Again, Aquarius collective. So unhealed things around government, around money, around, what are we doing, but also personally. So I think that it's very much this double-edged sword as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, and we're wanting to know these answers, and we're wanting to know these things, and we're becoming enlightened. I think there's also a very soft underbelly that comes with that. And, you don't, there's always, how, how is it put? So if you want to get to the outer solar system, you have to go through Pluto to get there, right? Pluto is represented by Hades. You kind of have to go through it to get through it. So I think that there's going to be a lot of this. I think this is just starting. And I think we can drive ourselves crazy looking at all of these things, or we can look at it in our own communities and say, how can I change my community to make it a better community for the whole world? And I do think that you have to be mindful of what you're looking at and what you're doing and what you're giving your energy to. But I think that's where a lot of the questions about things are coming from, is because we are definitely in that age of Aquarius. And when Pluto was in Capricorn, it was very detailed energy, so we're really getting a lot of that Aquarian energy, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for some people. Some people are going to feel right at home in it. Some people are going to feel very uncomfortable in it. For example, I don't do well with like earthy energy, so like Capricorn, Taurus, that kind of energy, I don't do well with it. It moves too slow. It's but when you get Karina, who's a Taurus, and me, who's an Aquarius, together, you get a good combination. So I think it's really just looking at kind of what's going on, and just understanding there's going to be a lot of people asking a whole lot of questions in the future.
And I find what TCM brought up about the Super Bowl to be
Uh-huh.
true, and that you can see this. It's one thing, okay, like when I'll bring yes, your Hecklefish stuff. That is you saying, I'm going to buy this to support this channel, and because I like it.
Uh-huh.
But you've had sports, stuff.
Mhm.
I'm going to buy a Nike. A lot of us buy Nike shirts or whatever.
Mhm.
If they're not, I'm going to support Nike. No, usually
Yeah.
with that stuff is I want to be trendy. And so
Yeah.
now you're paying a company to advertise for them. And what they do, they get everybody wearing Nike. I'm just using Nike as just a whipping boy
Yeah.
here, but get everybody to get that focus, authority, tribe, get that tribe
Uh-huh.
of the fate model working. The tribe believes in Nike, in Adidas, whatever. Insert company here. I want to be like the tribe. The tribe is important to me. Yeah, that's very
And
big. And the Super Bowl, yeah, I mean, it became
yeah.
more about the Super Bowl show. Oh, did you see what so and so on did? Do you care about who's playing? I don't give a crap who's playing. I want to see this. I want to see the halftime show. Did you see what so and so on did?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and to your point, that's why you will never see me wearing anything that's got a logo on it. You're not paying me to advertise for you. Like, I just don't. And I'm like, but I think that a lot of things have been lost. You're right. Like, so I love Simon Sinek. He's my
oh,
guy.
you've heard of
Um,
them.
I love, for those of you who don't know Simon Sinek, he has a podcast called A Bit of Optimism, and he is somebody who he's British, but he goes through and he teaches Well, he teaches about human nature first, but he teaches you how to be a better leader in the workplace or just in general. He's worked a lot with the Navy SEALs and learned about their culture and stuff like that. Anyway, he is amazing. If you guys have not checked him out, Simon Sinek, go check him out. Listen to his podcast, A Bit of Optimism. It's amazing. It's really uplifting. I really like him. But one of the things that he said, going back to Nike, is he said he was giving a talk, and or he was listening to a talk or something like that. Anyway, it was about Nike, and the CEO of Nike was like, "Okay, who here has purchased our shoes?" And everybody in the room stood up. And then he's like, "Okay," so he had people sit down at these different intervals. And he's like, "How many people here run once a week? How many people do this? How many?" And got down to the final question. And I loved this. And this is something that I've taken away is he's like, "How many people get up early in the morning and run, rain, shine, snow? How many people do that?" And there was like 3 people in the room of like 500. And he's like, "That's what Nike was founded on. So I want you to know that when you're out there running in the morning and it's just you and you're running by yourself, we're the ones that are under the lamppost cheering you on." And that's what that company was founded on. It's
Mm,
gotten lost because of
mm,
commercialism, but
yeah.
every company started somewhere
Mm, yeah.
with a personal, like their own mission statement, their own, like mine is go conquer your world as only you can. We'll be here to help you light the way. I believe in that. All of these companies believed in something. And then you get like Budweiser, they just got it so unequivocally wrong that they lost billions. So I mean, it's just this changing thing, and I really do think that it really is because we're headed into the age of Aquarius, and people are not taking things at face value anymore. And I think that the vid had a lot to do with that. When the government said you have to stay home, you have to do this, you have to do that. I think a lot of people pushed back on that
Mhm.
a lot. Yeah, no logos. I don't like logos.
Yeah, there is one thing I want to specify. I'm not pushing any religious system. I'm
Oh,
not
right, right.
pushing against any religious system. This is just a part of what I'm trying to figure things out. Yeah, how does all this fit
Yeah.
together? What can I do with
Mhm,
these pieces that are it's like having a bunch of Legos that don't fit together. Like,
mhm.
what the hell am I supposed to do with this? All these disparate pieces are trying to so yeah,
Yeah.
it's been interesting. It really has how these different belief systems have all grown up, and it's like, what do I
Mhm.
do with that? How does this work? How do I show more head space and less chest space? But um, yeah,
Well,
it,
and
it
it's a part of your identity too. I mean, it was a part of my identity.
mhm,
So not only are you untangling your belief system, whatever that looks
mm,
like I believe we should all be covered in logos too. I believe we should not. Green jello is better than red jello. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You're not just
Right.
untangling um, your belief system, you're entangling a part of who you are. Because
mm,
I was that person when we were in church. My cousin was the preacher, my mom was the piano player, my dad was the song leader, my grandpa was the head deacon, my granny was in charge of ladies auxiliary. Like we were that church family. And it was I had to untangle my identity because my identity was wrapped up in that. So it makes sense that it's difficult because it's not just the belief system you're entangling. It's who you are. Because when we say, when someone's like, "Oh, Christy, what do you do?" Well, what is your answer to that? Is it, um, you know, I'm a YouTuber or I'm in sales or I'm a CEO? Or is it, you know, I'm a I'm an authentic hippie chick. Like, how you define yourself is,
Mm,
and a lot of times people define themselves by their work or their
mm,
belief. And,
mm,
oh, I am Jewish. And I love the Jewish people out there. I'm not poking on anybody. I am Catholic. I am Christian. I am Buddhist. You're defining yourself by that. And when that changes, who you see yourself as changes. And so I think a lot of the entangling isn't about, do I believe that Jesus is the Lord and Savior? Do I believe he's the Son of God? Do I believe he is an ascended master? Do I believe he's just a person and he didn't do anything? It's deeper than that.
mm,
It's deeper than that. And then you have to figure out how to respond to that. So when someone's like, "Do you believe in Jesus?" I do, but it doesn't, probably not the same way you do. Um, and how do you, and you have to relearn how to do all that. Like when I lived in the South, I got invited to church so much. I was like, for crying out loud, what in the, but I mean, it's, so even responses to that, you're having to relearn responses. So you're
mm.
reprogramming your brain, your responses, your identity, your belief system, limiting beliefs that you had. Egger just went flying across from my table onto my stove. um, yeah, you were put into the family identity before you could figure out your own, and
That's right.
it
Yeah.
happens a lot. And here's the thing, and I want to be very clear about this. My parents, my family, they didn't do it to oppress me and hold me down. They truly believed that the religion that they
That's
were
right.
in was the right one, that it was the best way to raise me and my family. It helped my grandpa overcome his alcoholism and deal with his childhood abuse and the abuse that he put onto my uncles. So there's benefit to that. And if you are religious, if you are in a religion, please know I support you, and I am not at all saying that you are wrong. Um, but I believe that there was no nefarious intent. I wasn't in a cult, but there are a lot of things, even me as a woman in religion, looked different. Like, I wouldn't, in the religion I grew up in, I wouldn't be allowed to be a preacher. I couldn't be a preacher. I couldn't share anything. If
Right.
I wanted to teach anybody something, I had to be a Sunday school teacher. But I could only be like, I couldn't even be a Sunday school teacher because my oldest daughter was born out of wedlock. So I wouldn't even be allowed to be that. So, you
Mm,
know, that's, and now again, to be fair, when that came up, when I got pregnant with my oldest and I didn't get married, my dad stood up for me, and he's like, "We're leaving the church," and my dad never went back to church after that. Um,
Wow.
but like, there's so much more. So if you guys are starting to question this, you're going to start at a very superficial level, where this was done to me. Why was this done to me? Why did this happen? What do I believe?
mm,
And then you get to the point of, well, why did I stay? Why did I do this? And there's a lot of untangling, and I don't know that I'm ever going to be done untangling any of this. And I don't know that, I mean, I will be done untangling it when I've learned the lesson in this lifetime, right? And that's, and then, universe, or however that looks for you, is going to be like, okay, but I think that belief in a higher power is really important too.
mm,
Believing in something bigger than ourselves, because,
mm.
like, you guys, if it was just up to me, if all of this is just based on me,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's something also that I find that's yeah, important to keep in mind. We can think of examples of any religious group, and I'm use the term religion. I realize that's probably a bad term to use, but
it's right.
any view type group, be it even economic, whatever, any group, you can pick out somebody who's being inauthentic. That doesn't make the
Mhm.
group wrong. It doesn't make what they believe
Right.
necessarily wrong. There are bad actors in every group. And I found myself playing into that because there was somebody identifying as a particular religious group that I was a part of. That's like, I was tempted to say, I no longer believe this because this person acts this way. And I realized that is unintentional manipulation in that I'm
Mhm.
allowing this one bad actor to
Mhm.
determine my belief styles. I'll use an example. This came up with it was some religious teacher I was listening to on a radio. I don't even know who it was. He was talking about. I gave the single shoulder shrug. That is consistent. When you don't know, I have no certainty in that statement. But uh, blinking eyes is also a sign of stress. Um, this person was saying, what was it? That, oh, Lars Ulrich said, a drummer from Metallica. I have my
Uh-huh.
views on Lars Ulrich. And it does not reflect on all of Metallica. I mean, I want to separate, you know,
I
I
don't
could,
like
I could,
him.
yeah, I don't like him either. I don't like, yeah, I don't like him as a person. But and I could still I could still admire some of Metallica's work. I could still say,
Mhm.
hey, I like the song, but
Right.
dude, you are messed up in the head. But this person was saying we should not. Lars Ulrich, the drummer of Metallica, said he does not like this style of music. We should not be. This is a rock and roll drummer, and he says that even he should. It's like, wait a minute, you're allowing somebody who you state you disagree with determine for you what kind of
Mhm.
music you should listen to. You talk about that's not intentional manipulation, but you're still allowing Lars
Right.
Ulrich to determine the style of music in a
Yeah.
religion. And like that's weird. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
I think we're influenced by a lot of people. I think that, sometimes a message resonates with us, and instead of us going internal for the answer, we're going
Yeah.
external.
Mhm.
So look, this person, they look good, they sound good, they're very alluring, and you start to go down, and then the next thing you know, their opinion is your opinion.
Mhm.
But if I question your opinion, you can't answer why
Mhm.
you feel that way because it's not really yours.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so I think that, there were, and, I'd love to have this discussion with people, anybody that's a creator. When we go back in time and we see why religion came about, why rules and regulations came about, we needed boundaries, right? As a society,
Mhm.
it's kind of common sense. These animals are making me banana cakes today. Um, we so you don't go around killing people because you want their property. You
Mhm.
don't take their wives on a horse and run off because you don't have any women in your tribe and you want to, procreate. Um, so, we had to have some boundaries here, and we had a
Mhm.
hierarchy in the heavens that were like, well, you're going to go someplace really bad when you die. Well, of course, that's going to be your message because you can't come back and tell me, in theory, what happened when you died. And if you were on that train, as I said before, I'm on the bus to hell with some people I know. Um, so I think that there are pros and cons to messages, but and what I said to Victor earlier is, as parents are more enlightened and allow other perspectives, other like, okay, this is what I believe. You were raised, Teresa, as a Catholic. But you know what? Do your research. Does that religion actually resonate with you?
Mhm.
Does that way of teaching resonate with you?
Mhm.
And if you want to go a different direction, okay, let's, maybe not, don't go the Hare Krishna route where you're, dancing around in a circle bald. And I'm kidding anybody that's a Hare Krishna, sorry. But, it's like, use your common sense. What
Mhm.
resonates with you as that person?
Mhm.
And most of us, what I'm witnessing in the last few years
Mm.
is
Mm.
people don't want to do that in their work. They want to be told or guided or led to a solution.
Mhm.
That can be in any way, shape, or form. And I think that, it's it's um it's also being respectful. If you have a way of believing, if you have a way of living, I want to respect it as long as it's voluntary for you.
Mhm.
But um don't tell me that I can't wear a certain thing, I can't look a certain way, I can't dye, cut, color my hair a certain way. Um, do I want to see a bunch of hoo-has walking down the street and I don't need to see every boy's tushy this side of the Mississippi? I've seen more tushies. I'm going to get arrested. And it was a form of clothing. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait till this fad ends.
Mhm.
But it's you are following a group of peers that resonate for
Mhm.
you. Why is it that that's important to you?
Mhm.
And so this journey that I've been on is really about accepting people where they're at.
Mhm.
And I think by us living, whether it's light workers or whomever you are, healers, um, corporate people, it doesn't really matter. The way that you live, the way that you honor people or show up for people, that's how you are influencing people's behaviors.
Mhm.
And if you don't like me for how I live, for how I breathe, or how I um, um, think or
Mhm.
act, that's great. That's your choice. And I want you to go with your choice.
Mhm.
Don't make me feel bad about my choice though,
Mhm.
because this shell that I'm in, I crafted it. It's me.
Mhm.
And so I think what you're saying and what I've been hearing from people, um, it look within before you start looking outside of yourself for your answers,
Mhm.
because sometimes the path that you're following does lead you to a cult, makes you more vulnerable and
Mhm.
receptive to, that way of thinking. The next thing you know, you're signing over your whole life
Mhm.
Mhm.
to that way of being.
Mhm.
And that's not just religion, people. But religion, a lot is under the guise of God. A lot is under the guise of religion. Well, your religion, sorry, that's not the right religion. The way I pray and the way that I, beat myself, that's the way that, that's the true religion. That's why we're in this, cauldron of crap,
Mhm.
because your way is different than my way.
Mhm.
My God is better than your God. Well, there's only one God. So, oops, I'm gonna have to pause. They're going bananas.
This is really interesting too. This was one of the things I was hitting on in one of these operations manuals. Um,
Uh-huh.
okay, it's the illustration of the eyes, and what we find is our physical, our mindsets affect our physical appearance. Good or
Yeah.
bad. You have several factors, and of course, there's also a lot of genetics. I'm not saying what a lot of people probably think I'm saying. But what this is talking about is a lower eyelid LEF factor, lower eyelid factor. And I
Mhm.
think I brought this up before, that what we have is you have this wrinkle underneath your eye. And what that comes from is being skeptical. Like, "No, I don't know
Mm.
about that."
Mhm.
Squinting, like you're squinting into the sun a lot of times, I'm trying to figure this out kind of thing. People who don't do that. And of course, this also age is affected by this, but it's also validated by it. Um, People who have a bigger, more of a wrinkle there are less susceptible to influence. Now, and this also plays in age, because as we age, we experience and we gain experience, and we start to form our neural pathways tend to get kind of crusty. Like, I the hell with what you say. I've made my mind up, kind of thing. So yeah, we do tend to be less open to influence. I've already made my mind up on this, and that's that.
Mhm.
But what I find amazing is when you're looking for cult members, a lot of times they lack that wrinkle at the bottom of their eye. And this can be seen. Scientology was a prime example of Jim Jones, the pictures of people, Jim
Oh,
Jones.
mhm.
They didn't have that. A lot of Heaven's Gate members didn't have it, even though one of them was really old. And then yeah, the Branch Davidians. I mean, there's been study after study after study, and they're finding like, wow, this appears to be a physical property of a mindset that we can have, and
Yeah,
then that, and it's not necessarily all bad. I mean, like I said,
right.
or not necessarily all good, because sometimes we make our mind up about incorrect things, and I think there's always a
Mhm.
balance there. It's like I need to be open, but not so open my brains fall out, and I'm willing to follow some fat guy with baked beans teeth and the whole 9 yards, as he spews on about stuff he just happened to get right occasionally. Um, but yeah, it is interesting, and that was one of the things that we needed explanation for phenomenon we couldn't understand, like thunder.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and that I don't remember where I was going to go with that. Don't ever, but we do see this even in social media, which is getting decidedly antisocial, where people project things that aren't necessarily. And I'm not saying you need to go on social media. Oh, woe is me. I'm not saying I'm any better on so. I'm not saying I'm any better than a person because I don't participate in social media. My social media account is mainly that way out of sheer laziness. I tend to use Facebook only for Messenger. Yeah, I try to get involved in it and try to support people, but I'm old. I forget. But we saw this in the case of Chris Watts. He was the guy who wound up murdering his own pregnant wife, and
Mhm.
just disgusting individual. Point being, though, that his wife was big on social media, and she was painting this picture on social media where everything is perfect, everything is roses, this
Mm.
artificial image. It kind of reminds me of a few pastors' wives where they always say, "Oh no, everything is good," and you come to find out, no, everything was actually going to shit. And I'll say shit because,
Right.
yeah, we're not not monetized, and I have this flag for adults. Um, but yeah, it um, just be I guess that was one of the things that I had, and I realized when I was in social media, I was doing that too. Oh, everything is perfect. Everything. It's like, no,
Mhm.
life doesn't work like that. Life isn't always
Yeah.
wonderful. Sometimes we wake up with a headache. Sometimes we wake up with a toothache. Sometimes we accidentally put diesel in our car. Bad things happen. I've never done that, but I know of a motorcycle rider that, yeah, that happened to. Um,
Oh, no. That's sad.
yeah, he had to take his bike apart. But yeah, I mean, things happen. Life isn't always beautiful. We do the best we can. But yeah, that was the thing I don't like about a lot of social media. It's always, oh, life is roses and things like that. Having
Yeah.
said that, on X, I do tend to retweet. I think it's still a term, tweet. I don't know. Um, I tend to retweet animal videos just because
Mhm.
a lot of the body language stuff I get into, there's some messed up people. And at the end of it, it's like, okay, I've used this person for an example to study this body language style, but yeah, you have all this negativity. I need that positivity. So I'll
You
go and
need
I'll
some
find,
puppies.
yeah, baby animal videos are great for that. Dogs playing in
Right.
snow, chinchilla getting brushed, with a big old
Yeah.
smile on its face. Um, yeah, that sometimes I need that, but yeah, I try to avoid saying, "Oh, everything is beautiful with me." In fact, I don't talk about myself at all.
Right.
But I'm not saying that view is superior or at all. But
Right, right, right.
um, yeah, but I just find that that's the way we tend to be inauthentic sometimes.
And it looks like you've got about 1 minute
Oh,
until the next person is supposed to start, just so that you knew where you
thank
were
you,
at.
thank you for that. I completely lost track. So you know what? We're just going to go ahead and close this out. Uh, again, conversations with Christy. Teresa's getting her channel built right now as we speak, and the
Mhm.
person we had earlier was Truth Wave Energy Meditation. Um, should I close with the video? You know what? I think people know who I am already. So I don't think I'll even bother with a video. I'll just go ahead and close this. And on to the next, which I don't remember who that is. It's going to be uh it's going to be Surviving Together. That's going to be Mac. So
There you
yeah,
go.
go there, show her some love, and I do hope everybody's having a great day today.
Have a
Merry
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
holidays,
guys.
Have
everyone.
a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.